security, freedom and prosperity was presided over by President Yoweri Museveni and his Zimbabwean counterpart Emmerson Mnangagwa as the chief guest.
By 7 a.m., residents, local leaders and political leaders from all walks of life across Bugisu sub-region and beyond had started flocking the venue in large numbers to witness celebrations to mark Uganda's 57 years of independence. President Yoweri Museveni arrived at Sironko district headquarters at 7 minutes past noon, accompanied by his Zimbabwean counterpart, Emmerson Mnangagwa. After inspecting a guard of honor, Museveni and the crowds were treated to a well-armed choreographed march by the security forces. While addressing the people, President Museveni stressed that Uganda is on the right path to economic recovery.
So we have been able to achieve minimum economic recovery, build a strong army, start the process of development, even address the issues of social services, while at the same time the population is increasing from 14 million in 1986 to now 42 million.
There was much excitement after Museveni hinted on the construction of roads in Bugisu sub-region.
Mbale, Namagumba, Budali, Mutufu, Sironko. Ensonga ezimu zirwawo kubanga omuntu gw'omwasindika ewange tatuukayo mulabye wano. Naye ekirungi ku luno mwansindikira muwala wange Nambozo.
He said that government is now emphasizing production ahead of consumption. Earlier, Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa thanked Uganda for the friendship and consolidating brotherhood.
I'm happy to be here to learn, consolidate, and deepen our relations between the Republic of Uganda and the Republic of Zimbabwe. Your independence inspired us in Southern Africa. We were inspired that it was possible to remove colonial power from our countries when you became independent.
Mnangagwa received the Pearl of Africa Medal for his contribution to Africa's liberation struggle. About 87 Ugandans were recipients of different medals for their contribution to Uganda's independence. Leaders from Bugisu applauded government for the achievements in the region.
When we were getting our independence, the whites asked what we would use for sustainability as Ugandans, and our coffee was stacked, and it is Arabic coffee that comes from Bugisu. We are the producers of Arabic coffee, the best coffee.
Mwanyala nabi, mwanyala kwaganira bageni, mwanyala kweya hango, mwanyala kwitegeka. I want us to remain united. I want us to love one another. I want us to be hardworking so that we can improve our conditions of living.
What I want to encourage Ugandans is to use the peace that we have, the freedom to unite and further develop our country.
So the stability in Sironko district and in this region is a reflection of what has been happening in Uganda, and it's good that we are here to consolidate the security we have attained in Uganda as part of the theme of today.
Consolidation of national unity, security, prosperity and freedom is the theme as Uganda celebrates 50 years of independence, proud of the successes registered, notwithstanding the challenges. Bernard Yiga, UBC TV, here in Sironko District, Bugisu Sub-Region.
Thanks, Bernard, for that story there, and we'll remain with stories pertaining to this year's Independence Day celebrations, where the mayor of Machindi, Ali Mulyanyama, has congratulated government upon marking the 57th independence. However, he noted that Independence Day celebrations should be all-inclusive, since it's for all citizens of Uganda. Let's get more in this report.
Away from Sironko District, where the 57th Independence Day celebrations have been commemorated, Muyenga community has chosen to celebrate the day at their village. While speaking to residents of Muyenga, the mayor Makinde division, Ali Mulyanyama, appreciated government for the developmental projects it has achieved in the 35 years of its rule.
I just try to be an example that people that happen on the ground and understand that independence is such and such. The problem is the implementation of the independence issues about what I have told you.
The independence of this country as having a reliable transport network that guarantees safe and reliable delivery of supplies from overseas.
Recently, President Yoweri Museveni passed a directive to release all those who were arrested because of being idle and disorderly, though this is yet to be realized. It is against this background that the LOC2 chairman, Muyenga Wakasa Yasin Omar, says the Uganda Prison Service should fulfill the directive.
It's unfortunate that the spokesperson of prison, Baine, he tried to overlook the president by saying they don't have any such person in Uganda. Those who are there were charged of rogue and vagabond. Yet it's the same meaning. He's just playing with English words. Rogue and idle is the same. They should have released these people and celebrate with us. City Council also, we are blaming them. They also refuse to release the people whom the president directed should be out.
The woman councillor of Muyenga, Mahoro Dinavensi, commended government for its affirmative action as regards to gender equality.
I believe that every leader, when it comes to power, he has a role to play. And we believe that the current president, His Excellency the President of Uganda, is doing his part to see that he brings development in Uganda. However, it's not a one-man's responsibility.
As part of their independence celebrations, the Muyenga community has organized a boda football match to unite the residents with the boda riders.
And also for a long time, the border people have been left outside. We want to bring them together. We want to work with them because they are a part of our society. And we are going also to benefit within the community policing approach because many borders operators have been involved in crime.
Dorcas Kimono and Nelson Akatuhurira, UBC TV News.
I will be returning to other stories pertaining to the Independence Day, but now let's look at some other stories that are making news. And Edward Kayemba, a 25-year-old prisoner at Chanamukaka, has been rearrested for allegedly defiling a 13-year-old girl. The Kayemba, who was about to complete his sentence, was caught by residents of Chanamukaka as he allegedly defiled a 13-year-old girl who made an alarm that attracted the attention of neighbors. Let's get this story.
Kayemba, who was about to complete his sentence, was caught by residents of Chanamukaka as he allegedly defiled a 13-year-old girl who made an alarm that attracted the attention of the neighbors.
Nasanze oluggi luzeeko bwe luti. Nasanze oluggi luzeeko bwe luti. Kati bwe naze nengera bwe nti natuukidde yunifoomu y'omusibe ng'aliwo ku kisenge wanyigidde omwana. Omwana alaajana. Nsika oluggi nensibawo nteekamu ekinyolo. Ate nolera nga ngenda okulaba ng'amenya kwe kudduka neetooloola eri. Okumeza obutanzirukako we yatandikidde okunegayirira
The mother of the girl, Teddy Nabayego, said she was planning to take her daughter to a vocational school for further studies before she was abused, leaving her in fear because of the wandering prisoners in the area. Residents of Chanamkaka said they have always complained about the freedom of prisoners who aimlessly wander about and end up committing many crimes in the process.
I don't think it's lawful to leave inmates move all around and without any water. So it's unlawful.
Tusaba atwala prison mu Masaka alabe nti alondoola nnyo prison ze eziri mu Masaka yonna okulaba nti abasibe babeera basibe so si muntu kusibwa ate n'abeeranga ali wabweru.
The defiled girl and Kayemba were taken to Chanamkaka Health Center for medical checkup, where it was proved that penetration had occurred, yet the aggressor, Kayemba, was HIV positive. Southern Police spokesperson Paul Kangave says he got the information and arrested Edward Kayemba for defiling the girl. He says Kayemba will be taken to court for another offense of aggravated defilement.
Kayemba Edward has been a convict at Chanamkaka, Uganda prisons, Chanamkaka, where he has been serving a sentence of 2 years on charges of theft. And according to information that we have got is that when these convicts are about to leave prisons, they are sometimes sent outside to do some petty jobs. For example, they can send them to buy some things that the warders need. So in that process, that is how we manage to use the advantage.
Very sad indeed for that girl to have been defiled, and also old habits do die hard. Let's go back to some stories about the 57th independence anniversary of this Pearl of Africa. And the Forum for Democratic Party has declared plans of intensifying the defiance strategy, which they claim is effective. Now, while speaking to FDC members and supporters during a press briefing, the president of the FDC party, Patrick Amuriat Obo, said as a party, they need to demonstrate the power they say belongs to the people. Now, along the same line, Chadondo East Member of Parliament, Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, also known as Bobby Wine, has eluded police, making a surprise show in the city center, causing a frenzied excitement among his followers.
As National Resistance Movement Party celebrated the 57th Independence Day in Soronko district, back in Kampala, the opposition political parties and pressure groups held meetings to criticize the celebrations. Forum for Democratic Change Party members used the day to plan for their next step, emphasizing that many of their activities are being interfered with.
And so, talking about people's power should be real, and we should be able to demonstrate this, whether it means marching in the streets of our towns and villages, whether it means closing the roads.
The President, FDC, Patrick Amuriat Obo, cites the Chadondo East Member of Parliament, Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, who is allegedly on house arrest and cannot access his beach to perform.
We are going to manage the next year in our non-violent struggle of defiance. And I want to assure you that defiance works. Without this defiance, we will not have got even the space that we occupy today.
According to the leader of opposition, Betty Owol Achan, Uganda is not yet there, given the existing inequalities and corruption. She urges leaders of this party to be honest.
Be honest. Let us be truthful. Those are the things that I emphasize integrity. Let us be during the hard times. Let us be honest. Let us be people of high integrity.
Meanwhile, Bobi Wine had prepared an independence concert dubbed Osobola at One Love Beach in Busabala, but the place was by press time cordoned off by security personnel. The concert was stopped by police on grounds that they did not have enough security.
With Busabala, I need to follow up and find out with Kampala Metropolitan. Did they carry out an evaluation on crime and safety? Because I remember this was a point of conflict during the other time.
Yesterday, multitudes of soldiers and policemen were deployed at One Love Beach, Busabala, and indeed, even my home, this very place, was sealed by the police and the military. They deployed very many police officers, many more, much more than we needed for our show to go on. They more or less put me under house arrest. They could not allow.
Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who had earlier on taken on his social media page alleging to be under house arrest in his home at Magere, was later sighted in the city centre, causing excitement among his fans and supporters. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwetabinji.
From the city centre, let's go to Kasese now, where news coming in is that a 5-year-old pupil of Margarita Demonstration Primary School, Kisanga A, Nyamwamba Division in Kasese Municipality, has fallen and died in a septic tank. Gift Mohindo was allegedly following the school guard when he fell in an open latrine and drowned to his death.
5-year-old Gift Mohindo, a pupil of Margaret Demonstration Primary School, has fallen and died in a septic tank in Kisanga A, Nyamwamba Division, Kasese Municipality. Gift Mohindo, who was in middle class, was a child to Chakimwa Rose. A representative of Rwenzori East Regional Police Commander, Fred Wakadubi, confirmed the unfortunate incident. Fred Wakadubi warned parents and teachers against leaving young children on their own to avoid such unfortunate incidents. The chairperson LC3 Nyamwamba Division, Saidi Kisoki Muhindo, blames school administrators over such incidents. He advises them to fence off such dangerous places.
Sure, you move the standards of protecting human rights when you're operating those institutions. However, we are waiting for the investigations to find out whether it was negligence or it was an accident. But we tried to get information that this manhole was open, and that's why this juvenile fell into it.
We have a weak cover. It was just negligence. You must have a tight cover on such a septic tank which is within the vicinity of the children. So it was negligence.
The school administration, however, regretted the incident, saying it had not crossed their mind that a child would stray up to the open sewer.
Very sad indeed there, Gift Mohindo losing his life there, and probably as a result of negligence for that manhole not have been covered. To us now, where the first Deputy Prime Minister, General Moses Ali, has urged members of West Nile Development Association to utilize the available conducive environment to develop West Nile sub-region. General Ali was the chief guest at the West Nile Leadership Forum that was organized at Parkwatch Town Council Hall in Parkwatch District. Haruna Mtesasira reports.
West Nile Development Association is a platform for local government officials, district chairpersons, chief accounting officers, sub-county chiefs, where they meet and discuss matters concerning West Nile sub-region. The platform is meant for dialogue, information sharing, and strengthening coordination among districts under the umbrella of West Nile Development Association. While addressing the gathering at Pakwach Town Council Hall, the first Deputy Prime Minister, General Moses Ali, has urged the leaders to utilize the decentralization system to develop the region.
Changes, positive changes towards development, towards unity, towards recognizing others, towards appreciating that you are not alone. If you want to develop, you need others. I think that's why you are all here. Aren't you?
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Grace Kwechenyi, has called upon the district chairpersons to integrate West Nile Development Association in their local district budget.
Don't take WENDA as a different organization. WENDA is because of the district local governments. That is why the team here is chairpersons of district local government. So don't separate it. Don't separate it as a different thing. I'll be happy, whether climate change, whether health, whatever it is, if it is reflected in the plan and budget.
The chairperson, West Nile Parliamentarian Caucus, Lawrence Songa, has emphasized on resolutions and legal framework at both levels.
There are frameworks, legal framework which can be done at the local level. There are also frameworks that can be done at the parliamentary level. We are doing our part to make the laws favorable for all the issues we have talked about, so that when you are implementing them, you face no or less obstacles.
Among the resolutions agreed upon are to commercialize agricultural sector, strengthening cooperative unions, connecting West Nile to the national power grid, and industrialization. In attendance were the district chairpersons and sub-county chiefs from Moyo, Zombo, Pakwach, Arua, Ajumani, Koboko, Obongi, Madi, and Nebi, respectively. Mutesa Sida Haruna, reporting for UBC News in Pakwach District.
And now, on a lighter note, music, dance and drama is a powerful medium of communication that connects communities of varying cultures. Now, though largely entertaining, the genre is helping in bridging cultures, most of which are fading. Now, House of Talents Uganda Limited is a professional troupe of entertainers that is making this connectivity viable. Let's get more from our reporter, Habimana Deo.
The music, dance and drama sector has for generations soothed souls, tickled and excited persons of all walks of life into exuberance. Performances at most events, ordinary or special occasions like courtships, weddings, birthday parties, baptism, ordinations, graduations, worship sessions, anniversaries, coronations, and even culture-related rites are meant to create humor and excitement. Music is by nature educative, entertaining, unifying, and creates a social bond and a degree of pride. Music goes beyond race, political beliefs, gender, religion, sexuality, and other affiliations. This is because music, dance and drama draw inspiration from prevailing circumstances. Makere University Kampala has been at the core of training and nurturing some of the finest musicians, dancers, drama actors, and comedians. House of Talents Uganda Limited is a music, drama and dance hub that was started by former Makere University Kampala students and is now an epitome of cultural connections, creative arts, with a breeze of contemporary music with a rich and diverse culture. Olive Nicholas Chiwa is a passionate performing artist and a graduate of film, music, dance and drama with initial honing by Macquarie University Kampala, are now showcasing skills and experience gained so far.
So I love music, dance and drama so much, especially dance and music, especially culture and gospel music. And I've been in the system since 2002.
Olive Nikolechiwa says music is naturally part of her life. Along with her colleagues, they gyrate, jump, sing and shake their bottoms, exciting fans into frenzy.
Sad, but when I joined the music group and I started singing, dancing, up to now I'm so happy. Even if you annoy me, I just listen to my music, I just go dancing, you know. And
Olive Chua says the satisfaction of any performer is when fans smile, laugh and partake in the performance. Sedwanga Bernard is a dance troupe manager at the House of Talents who is proud to be a musician. He says to him, entertainment is both a gift and a passion.
Music has made me to travel around in America, in Europe, in Africa, to mention a few. So, after all, why shouldn't I love music? I have to love music because that is who I am. That is where I grew up.
Kagwano Erukidi is a traditional dancer from Mpambire village, Piji district, who has been dancing ever since he was a child. He is a son to his iPhone and a drum maker.
So he was always telling us that this is your going to pay for your school fees. And I took it on seriously. And in 2004, I was brought to Kampala for school on a bursary. So what he said, he was like prophesizing what would happen in the future.
Sylvia Babije Chibude, a dance manager at House of Talents, is a professional performer and a teacher who says music is a therapy that keeps her moving. Babije says performing keeps her fit, creative and stress-free.
Yes, I love dance and we do dance for very many reasons. First, to promote culture. Secondly, for entertainment. Thirdly, for therapy, because very many people have issues. So when they come and watch such dances, it is a way of relaxing.
Babirye shares her belief with Grace Ibanda, a creative arts director and founder member of House of Talents, Uganda Limited. Ibanda says by nature, cultural performances are vigorous and that each dance has its history.
Because we feel when we allow for cultures to connect, there is growth for all of us, because through diversity, we find our unifying places and the commonalities in each one of us. So cultural connection.
The mood and tone of dancing have to reflect the intention and have to match with the event.
They are deep in the villages. It is still existing that if you're a poor dancer, you can't get a pattern. So we learn more about different
music
cultures.
Music is a natural magnet that adds value and flavor to an event, without which fans and guests may slip into slumber. Habimana Deo and Owino John reporting for Ubc News.
Thank you, Dale and Owino, for that report. And of course, music is said to be a stress reliever. So kudos to House of Talents, Uganda. Now, despite government's efforts through the Ministry of Microfinance for the continued trainings of the people on the importance of developmental groups, a lot is still needed to train them, as many do not know how developmental groups operate. Now, this follows a fallout of youth groups in the meeting that was organized to train them, especially those of Malangala sub-county in Mityana district, who attacked trainers for introducing an interim committee of the Umbrella Association, not of their choice.
The youth of Malangala sub-county in Mityana district converged at the sub-county headquarters to attend a meeting organized by the chairman LC3 Mande Bowembo, aimed at training them on the importance of development groups before soliciting for financial support. However, in this very meeting, when the Diso Mityana District Fabiano Nwagaba introduced the interim committee for the Umbrella Association, Malangala Youth Development Association, the youth protested the interim committee, rejecting it as not one of their choice.
It's a new program. New program. Right to Giriza, the Pelondina, the Colempina, to Rwandiza, the Bantu abatali mubano era abatetubamanyi twagala ebibiina existing already ng'abagoma ababadde wano kati ffe ababadde tetumanyi kigenda mu maaso tetuli bana Uganda.
This, however, reveals that despite the government efforts through the Ministry of Microfinance, a lot is still needed to train the youth on developmental groups and how they operate. Later, the training continued and the Diso Mityana Fabiano Nwagaba urged the youth to remain calm because the interim committee is tentative.
Arangara, ngabe bakoze association. Chairman Bengamba. Kumurama kwe bamba nja kutambula nabo abakiririze mu mitendere ya association. Kwe bwozigara mu palisho n'ogamba sigenda yo, it's okay. Teri agenda kukaka mu village yo akuleta akuteke mu association. Wabula kyemanyi nti government erina
The LC3 Malangala Sub-County Mande Bwembo commended government for this mobilization of the youth in Busuju already in groups to join the association and appealed to the youth to continue forming groups to enable government to give them support.
Okuva eri muzeeyi waffe President Museveni ng'abalala bwe bajeyagaliramu bwe tumulaba ku TV twagala n'abantu baffe wano bamulabe wano era jje gye bali ate afunenga n'omukisa ogw'okubeera nti abantu ba wansi tulina lipooti ze tumusomera.
And in our town run today, in what seems to be a feat of drunken driving, a Land Rover registration number UBF 547C overturned early this morning at Nile Avenue. Now, eyewitnesses said that the rather overspeeding sports utility vehicle veered off the road before rolling several times. There were no fatalities reported.
Driver took off but was drunkard. At midday, he was drunkard and music at a higher volume. The driver had alcohol and after incidents he took off.
We don't know where the one is. We have got information from the office that there's an accident. Can even be a mechanical problem. So we have not yet established the cause of what? The accident.
34 minutes after 10, we'll now take a short break. We'll return with business news. Stay with us.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The
final blow, he is out. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Mommy, you can't touch me. You can't touch me. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare, contains paracetamol, caffeine and aspirin. Beta Healthcare, caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Measles and rubella outbreaks are still being reported in some districts in Uganda, putting the lives of our children at risk. In order to stop these outbreaks and maintain a polio-free Uganda, the Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Parents and caretakers are hereby asked to take all children under 15 years of age for immunization at the nearest health facility or immunization post. Ministry of Health also calls upon everybody to report any child with a fever and generalized skin rash to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately. This could be measles or rubella. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
There must be a madness that has taken us all. When the life of an animal means nothing at all. But for all those creatures with stories they cannot tell, we will be the voice to help end their living hell.
We're coming to you live from Butekanga in Kamuli district.
In the sub-county where I come from, where my leadership is being practiced, yeah, money is really a big problem that is hindering women to join leadership.
And in case you didn't know, Fasi Fasi is a show intended to make way for women in the leadership sphere. How can we create a space where someone who does not have 20 million shillings but has the ideas can become a leader in our community? Did you know that the journey to becoming a politician is very costly, especially for women in rural areas like Kamuli, where the main source of income is subsistence farming? Going by numbers, money seems to be a critical factor in joining the political race. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's make way and make some noise.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Let's make some news now in as far as business is concerned. And Uganda's economy has been resilient since independence and continues to register impressive growth, emerging as a poor agrarian economy dominated by agriculture after gaining independence from the British in 1962. The country has diversified its economy, becoming one of the fastest growing economies in sub-Saharan Africa. Here is our business reporter, Dennis Tigoa, with more.
Although the country is still dependent on agriculture 57 years after independence, other sectors such as tourism, mining and manufacturing have steadily grown to compete favorably with the agricultural sector. Peace and stability, especially in the last 3 decades, have played a critical role in the country's socio-economic growth.
So those three, peace, freedom, and being near the market, have been the main reason why the economy has been growing, in spite of the bottlenecks still being not resolved. But now we are willing to resolve the big cost pushers.
With the GDP growth averaging 6.5% per annum in the 1990s and 2000s, Uganda is ranked among the fastest growing economies globally. Uganda's economic resilience was evident as it managed to weather the global financial crisis in the late 2007 and 2008. From a peasant economy, the country is making steady strides towards industrialization. Uganda's Vision 2040 provides development paths and strategies geared at addressing bottlenecks that have constrained development since independence. This includes electricity supply, competent human resource, inadequate infrastructure, lack of industrialization, weak private sector, among others.
Both the total vision 2040, development plan number 1 and 2, and now I think number 3 is also the working, emphasizes industrialization as a key focus area for steering transformation of this economy. Industrialization, adding value to what Uganda is mostly endowed with, agriculture, and where the majority of our population are engaged on a daily basis. But more so, employment.
In the recent years, the country has invested significant resources in the road, mineral and energy sectors. Although government believes these sectors are fundamental in the country's long-term socio-economic growth aspirations, opinion leaders have varying views. As government injects massive resources in the infrastructure and mineral sectors, there is a growing concern about increasing foreign debt burden.
Domestic borrowing is not an answer because it creates what we call a debt to asset mismatch. The bulk of domestic lending is 3 years and road projects need 20 to 30 to 40 years to recover the money. PPPs give us a great potential, but they have a problem. They have a problem. As I've said, toll roads, user charges are already too little to recover the cost. So you can only use them for maintenance, meaning the loan must have come from elsewhere and must be paid for from elsewhere.
Uganda recorded a government debt equivalent of 38.60% of the country's gross domestic product GDP in 2017. Government debt to GDP in Uganda averaged at 43.04% from 1997 until 2017. Dennis Igor for UBC News in Kampala.
World news now, and we will look at China-US relations, where China's Ministry of Commerce said Tuesday that it strongly urges the United States to stay clear of the country's domestic issues after the White House blacklisted a slew of Chinese companies due to alleged human rights violations against Muslim minorities in China's far western region of Xinjiang. The comment came after tensions between the US and China rose ahead of the highly anticipated talks this week. Now, the U.S. on Monday banned 28 Chinese companies from doing business with American firms without being granted a U.S. government license due to human rights issues. Let's get this report.
China and the U.S. are gearing up for the high-level trade talks on Thursday.
The 15-month trade war drags on, and the events this week are driving a deeper wedge between the world's two largest economies. On Monday, Washington blacklisted 28 Chinese entities, including some of China's top AI firms. The blacklist includes 20 Chinese public security bureaus and 8 companies, including video surveillance provider Hikvision and AI startup SenseTime. The U.S. Commerce Department says it targeted the bureaus and companies for their involvement in alleged mistreatment of minorities in Xinjiang. The action bars the firms from buying components from U.S. companies without U.S. governmental approval, similar with what Washington has done to Huawei. A spokesman for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded to the development.
Xinjiang does not have a so-called human rights issues. What the U.S. is doing is to interfere in China's internal affairs. The counterterrorism measures in Xinjiang are to prevent terrorism crimes. The measures meet Chinese and international law and are supported by 25 million Xinjiang residents.
Companies are also making their voices heard. Video surveillance maker Hikvision strongly opposes the decision, adding that punishing the company will only negatively impact the U.S. Alibaba-backed SenseTime is deeply disappointed by the move, saying they follow all relevant laws where they operate and that they've developed an AI code of ethics to ensure proper usage of their products. NI Flytech, known for its voice recognition software, said they had already anticipated the ban and that it wouldn't affect daily operations.
Well, we'll now move to Hong Kong, where anti-government marches in Hong Kong have ended in rioting with attacks on government offices, a metro station and businesses with ties to mainland China. As violent and disruptive protests have been going on for months in Hong Kong, local business communities have been bearing the brunt as the chaos and tensions escalated.
After a weekend of large-scale violence and rioting, relative peace returned to Hong Kong on Monday. But life is far from normal in the once vibrant metropolis.
I'm now in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong's iconic bustling commercial center. Now it's about 8 p.m. It should be the busiest hour of the night. But now, if you look around, though the neon lights and some of the big LED screens are still shining and showing advertisements, many of the businesses here are closed, including the big shopping malls, some small shops like the jewelry shops and watch stores.
The industries and commercial communities have been greatly affected. Many shops are hurt. We have visited many small and medium enterprises. They have suffered great losses. We feel deeply sorry for them.
Lights on, no people. That's the typical thing at this Apple store recently. Wandering around here, you can see that the streets that used to be full of pedestrians and tourists are now half empty. Most of the shops here close at 5 p.m. because employees need to catch the last subway home. Many people also wait patiently in long queues for a bus home, feeling very frustrated about the inconvenience that has turned their lives upside down. Right behind me is the Causeway Bay metro station. It's one of the 54 metro stations that is closed today. And you can still see the effects of the fires from the protests here. And the other 39 stations closed around 6 p.m. The subway system has had serious restrictions over the past 2 weekends due to the extreme vandalism. The rail operator is engaged in intense repair work now.
On Saturday, Hong Kong's entire subway system was shut down for the first time in its 40-year history. The city was almost at a standstill.
Just think about it. Now it's so inconvenient, whether you want to take a subway or do any other things. So much destruction and severe vandalism. I think it's the worst case of violence in Hong Kong's history.
Meanwhile, many companies with links to the Chinese mainland have become a new target for the protesters.
Sports news now, and we begin with chess. And on the occasion to celebrate Uganda's 57th independence, young chess players have had the opportunity of competing in the Independence Chess Rapid Tournament. Here is our sports reporter, John Barnes Sentamo.
Nob V Hotel in Ntinda has hosted the 2019 Independence Chess Rapid Tournament that has attracted more than 200 players. It was organized to coincide with Uganda's independence, whose theme of consolidating of national unity, security, freedom and prosperity is well received amongst the youth.
I believe this time of independence, a lot has happened, and as we're celebrating 57 years of independence, Uganda has achieved a lot. So I believe this is the time where we have to do our own things, free from colonialism, and according to the youth, I think that's what we understand.
The players appreciate organizers for granting them an opportunity to compete in the rapid format, which gives them a chance to think fast.
And I'm happy to being practiced to think faster, and I'm very happy I'm proud to be Uganda, to live in Uganda, and 57 years of independence, that's a great thing. And I feel free to do anything, like even if I lose, if I win, I don't feel upset.
Independence is the day I know that all of Africa got and I also know that chess is a very interesting sport that increases your thinking facilities.
The tournament was followed by many, including national team head coach Harold Wanyama, who offered parental guidance to the young players.
Currently they have coaches, but how we came up was initial drive to get the desire, internal desire. So the kids have to have that internal desire.
Individual players that excelled include Asubi Chiwanuka, Solomon Luamba and Ahil Akbar Khan in the under-10 category. Shilo Tandeka was brilliant in the under-14s, while Sharif Senabulia was absolute in the under-16 category. Meanwhile, with the chess complete, the youth have joined others in Uganda to celebrate independence with numerous independence-themed presentations. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
Thanks, Barnes, for that report there. Now, when one looks at the 57 years Uganda has had down the road in as far as independence is concerned, there is a lot of success that has been registered both locally and internationally in as far as the sports discipline is concerned. Now, medals have been won and qualification to compete at world level, professionalizing the sport has also been achieved. However, greed and corruption in sports have perhaps hindered its development compared to other nations. Our sports reporter, Emon Ingabo, delves deeper.
The history of sports in Uganda dates way back in radius of a century. But football in particular, the most popular sport in the country, was introduced back in 1897 when the British, led by Mr. Pellington, a famous Cambridge athlete, proposed to teach the Baganda football at Namirembe. When Uganda got its independence in 1962, there were quite some sports disciplines being embraced in the country, of course at an amateur level, with mainly football and netball being introduced by the British. At that time, athletics, boxing, rugby and tennis were equally popular than any other sports discipline in the country. Sports was then funded by parastatals and government institutions in a rather more entertainment than the professional sake of it. 1962 is a year to remember as the first football league was inaugurated.
Sport was part of the institution, so under the institutional budget, definitely the Warriors fought for sport. And then it was also giving the workers in those organizations opportunities to do sport. And for them, they were using it as a way of retention of their staff and provision of entertainment to their people. So there was that attachment in terms of followership. All employees of a particular parastatal were all supporters of the institutional club. So there was that attachment, and probably we can attribute that to the numbers of people who used to go to watch games, because everybody came to to the stadium attached to a particular team.
This made it possible for the games to expand, and for the first time government departments and commercial houses were affiliated to Uganda Football Association. Uganda later competed at the Olympics and Commonwealth Games, tapping talent and winning medals. 1972 will always be recognized as a pivotal year in the industry of sports for Uganda, when John Akibwa became the first African to win gold in an event under 800 meters. He was also the first man to break the 48-second barrier in the 400-meter hurdles at the Munich Olympics. Boxing later took it up when Ayub Kalule, Uganda's most successful boxer, struck gold at the World Boxing Championships in Havana in 1974.
There is change. Sport has gone professional. Sport has gone scientific. Sport is now commercialized. It is no longer let's play and win and we get there. And then also when you look at certain sports which at the time of independence were not catching the attention of some people, today they are the sport that are marketing this country. If you look at the trend of the medals that we as a country have been able to get, they are not coming from the original sports disciplines. If you recall, we used to have basically boxing coming as number one at the time of independence and the 70s. But today when you look at where boxing is, you cannot find their medals.
This fate was closely followed by the Uganda Cranes' call to the Africa Cup of Nations title when they lost to Ghana in the finals. Dorcas Nzikuru, Joshua Cheptegei, Halima Nakai, Moses Kipsiro, Stephen Kiprotich, the list is endless, have made Uganda proud, winning gold at international level. A lot of success can be talked of, both at team level, highlighting the national football team, the rugby team, and the netball team, surprising many at the world stage.
When you look at netball, we are World Cup. We have qualified for World Cup twice, and we are the champion of Africa twice. We are the defending champion of Africa right now. When you look at athletics, you go to boxing. In fact, Uganda has achieved. Uganda, first and foremost, we may be failing to have the facilities at hand, but God has given us a talent, and it's a matter of nurturing their talent, and we get where the whole world must stand up for Uganda.
With all the success, one can easily identify the lack of sports facilities, while the few have been encroached on. As Uganda marks its 57th independence, celebration in sports can be highlighted, but in comparison with some African countries, a lot needs to be done. Ngabo Emon, reporting for Ubc TV.
Thanks, Amon, for that report there. And of course, one thing to note there is that sports facilities must be put up in the country because the talent in sports is already there. Now let's have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow with Sharon Nakajiri at the Weather Center.
Hello there, welcome to this weather report from Uganda National Meteorological Authority, courtesy of UBC. Now, there is still a continuation of wet weather activities across most parts of Uganda. That today morning we had Guru reporting 14.3 millimeters of rainfall, Kampala reported 4.5. As for Jinja, it was 3.4 millimeters. This is because the rain-bearing clouds are widely spread over our country, Uganda. Tomorrow morning we are forecasting light rains in most parts of Uganda, apart from the northeastern parts of the country, where we are forecasting sunny intervals that includes Kotido, Gulu, and Karamoja. During the course of the afternoon, we shall have light rains over most parts of Uganda. The temperatures are expected to rise up to 29 degrees Celsius in Kotido, 23 degrees Celsius in Kabale Highlands. As for Kampala, we shall have temperatures rising up to 26 degrees Celsius. For international weather forecast, we are forecasting light rains in Nairobi and New York. Temperatures are expected to go up to 26 degrees Celsius in Nairobi. As for Dubai, we are forecasting sunny intervals. Temperatures will go up to 37 degrees Celsius. For more information, please log into our website as it is displayed on your screen. Have a great night.
Sharon, therefore, ably preparing us for tomorrow's weather. Now, before we leave you, let's have a quick reminder of our top stories. In our news headlines tonight, Uganda celebrates 57 years of independence. FDC party president Amuria Toboy says defiance proven effective. Uganda on the right path of economic growth at 57 years. Elsewhere in the world, China urges the US to stop blacklisting Chinese entities for political excuses. And in sports, Independence Chase Gala excites youth players. Thank you so much for having been a part of this bulletin on sign language. It has been Mogalu Mohammed, and I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. See you tomorrow.
Welcome to our program, and don't forget, we are here to show you that our God is alive. He has power to change your life. Says in the book of Luke 12:12, for the Holy Spirit will teach you in that very hour what you ought to say. Sometimes you don't know what to do, né? You don't know if you continue in this marriage or not, if you continue working there or not, but the Holy Spirit knows everything. If you seek Him, you will know what to do with your life. I'm inviting you to pray before the end of this program and for our fasting to finish soon. We're going to finish our fasting of 21 days, the 13th of October, there in Freedom City, Namasuba. Watch now what God did in the life of this person, and I'll be praying for you.
At the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God.
My name is Zweli Dumile